Hi friends, in this video I'm going to tell you what is exactly in your syllabus in general. Mind it, maybe your syllabus has got reduced for a particular year, but here I'm just going to talk what actually you study under this topic, which is called problems of an economy. This is for class 9, where I'm discussing economics specifically for ICSE students. See, problems of an economy. As you know, there can be different kinds of problems a country or an economy faces, but here, since we are studying economics, we are going to consider problems which are economic in nature, which are actually related to the economics of a country. So number one, which you have to study under problems of an economy, is limited availability of resources. Now this is important. Limited availability. What is availability and limited availability of? Now here is resources. I'm putting it with a capital R. Okay, resources. I'll just explain to you. Just hold on with me. Limited availability of resources. What does this mean? It means, see, there are three words which this part of syllabus actually expects you to know. One is first resources. What are resources? Then availability of resources and limited availability of resources. Okay, If- as again I'm repeating the same thing in this video as well, that if you pay attention on the words which actually describe, you know, a certain phenomenon in economics, you will understand it all. So if you go by these words, it talks about resources which are available but in limited quantity. So we have to understand here meaning and types of resources under this chapter, under this part of the syllabus, that is, they call it uh, meaning meaning and types of resources and types of resources. Okay, this you have to know here, and with examples. Okay, you have to know this with examples. Okay, so what is a resource, what are the different types of resources, and you have to give examples of different resources. Meaning and examples of limited resources, also you have to mention what do you understand by meaning and example. Meaning and examples, so they are asking for more than one, of limited resources. Okay, which resources are limited, you have to give the example, limited resources. And what else is asked is that you have to understand the basic economic problem. You have to know what is basic economic problem. Okay, so understanding of the basic economic problem, that is, human wants are unlimited in relation to limited resources that have alternative uses. This I will explain to you slightly in a bigger way, in an elaborated way. What is this basic economic problem? The syllabus, as it asks you and it expects you to know, is that, see, humans, like humans, we have, what do we have? We have wants which are unlimited in relation to limited resources. Unlimited wants. Okay, we have unlimited wants. There is no end to what you or I can ask for. Okay, but the problem which we have is that unlimited wants, we do have all of it, but the problem is that in relation to limited resources, we have limited resources. Okay, and I'll tell you how it is. Limited resources. So there is always a question. See, you want to have a lot of things in life, but resources are limited. Say for example, if you have steel production in a given year, it's limited. If you have any kind of other resource like say petrol, or maybe even if you have say electricity produced, coal which is available, so all these resources are limited. So the question here is that, you know, these limited resources can be put to alternative uses. Okay, alternative uses. So how do we decide how to allocate these limited resources, okay, in the alternate uses? This is a big decision that economies have to make, because not all countries have, you know, uh, resources in abundance. There may be one resource which is like, you know, in greater quantity in a given country, but the country may be limited in other resources. So this is very important, which you have to understand, that how to make best use of limited resources and which have alternative uses, despite the fact that we have unlimited, you know, wants. And we also have to understand under this part that there is a need, there is in fact a need for efficient use of resources. Need to use resources efficiently. Okay, what does this mean? It means that supposing we have very limited resources, take any example, say for example chemicals. No, so what is a better use of chemicals? Should we use these chemicals for manufacturing medicines and goods which we can consume directly, or should we use these to produce cosmetics first? Now which is our priority? Say for example steel or cement, which is a better use? Do we first build our bridges and roads, or do we use these to have, you know, more of private housing developed in a given economy? So these are, you know, how we decide actually how to put our resources to better use or best use possible. Now a second part here is, you know, the first was limited availability of resources. The second part we are going to study here is called central problems of an economy. Central problems of an economy. What do we study here? The problem is, given the limited resources, when you have studied in part 1 that despite the fact that we have unlimited wants, we can produce things with limited resources. So we have alternative uses, and when you have alternative uses, the most important question which comes to mind is what to produce. Okay, what to produce, what do we produce? And the second is, when you want to produce this, how to produce? I'll just explain this to you as well, how to produce. Okay, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Okay, whom to produce, for whom, let me put for whom. Okay, whom are we producing this? And we need to have a brief understanding with examples. So understanding of these, understanding, and we need to have examples of all these. Okay, now the last part, let me explain to you once more. The central problems of an economy: what to produce, what do you want to produce actually? Supposing you have, you know, a lot of land to have crops in a country. Now what do you want to produce? And when you want to produce that, how to produce? Do you want to produce using machines? Even if, you know, if you're producing a good in a factory, so there can be different ways of producing that good. If you are constructing a road, the road can be constructed using machines, or it can be constructed with the help of many more laborers who can work on the same road. And when you're producing something, for whom to produce, who are the, which part of the country, which people, which sector? There can be different ways of understanding this, that this production is meant for, you know, for whom. And so you have to understand these three questions, and with basic understanding and examples. Let me just explain this part once more, recall what we have just studied, and you know, that is it in this part of the syllabus. Now you have, you know, if you just look, you have to study problems of an economy. Okay, under this part. So number one is, there is limited availability of resources, and there is what do you call, types of resources, okay, and you have meanings and examples of limited resources which we studied. So this is one thing which we have to know, okay, meaning and types of resources. This is meaning and types of resources. And after that, next thing which we have studied here, or we will be studying under this, as I told you that I'll be having all of it detailed in later videos, but here I'm just trying to warm you up to this syllabus. Basic problem, we have to understand what is the basic problem in dealing with an economy, is that human wants are unlimited wants, but the resources are limited, and there are alternate uses to these resources. This is very vital, which we need to understand. And how to, we need to use these resources efficiently, that is important. And the second part which you are going to study here in this part of the syllabus is the central problems of an economy. So there are three basic questions you have to know. One is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So this is all. This is a very short part of the syllabus, but I think if you study this properly, maybe you can really have some good marks here, some good questions you can answer from here. Thanks for watching. If you like, please share and subscribe.